Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Heavenly Parent Holy Community Oceania Pundok. Today is Ahn Shi, and we're together with Rev Abel Nakou, and it's Thursday, the 9th of September, or the 3rd of August in the 9th year of Chongyul Guk. So let's begin, as always, with a bow to our Heavenly Parents and True Parents. Chariot, Kyombe, Haro. And let's recite our family pledge, both in Korean and English. Thank you.
가정맨세 2. 천일국 주인 우리 가족은 참 사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님과 참 부모님을 모시어 천주의 대표적 가정이 되며 중심적 가정이 되어 가정에서는 효자, 국가에서는 충신, 세계에서는 성인, 천주에서는 선자의 가정의 도리를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다.
Family pledge number 2. Our family, the owner of Chongyul Guk, pledges to represent and become central to heaven and earth by attending the Heavenly Parent and True Parents. We pledge to perfect the dutiful family way of filial sons and daughters in our family, patriots in our nation, saints in the world, and divine sons and daughters in heaven and on earth by centering on true love. Thank you. I'd like to ask Catherine in New Zealand if you could offer the opening prayer, please.
Good morning, let's pray together. Good morning, our most beloved Heavenly Parents and our beloved True Parents of heaven and earth and humankind. We sincerely thank you so much for your loving hearts, for the guidance that you give us each day. And we're really grateful that we can come together this morning to share the message that Abel has for us all and that you're going to speak through him today. We thank you that we can really come to know and understand each other through the Pundok each day, and that we can work together as a true family in this region, Oceania. We thank you for this opportunity. We thank Rev Abel for all the heart and love he puts into each day, preparing words for us and making it really exciting and interesting for each one of us to come together and to share the time together. We thank you for the hearts of one another also. But most of all, we thank you for our beloved True Mother, who has such a huge mission on her shoulders, and we want to be able to support her in all that is necessary to do. We have the Vision 2027. We want to be able to complete this with her so that it can be totally victorious for her, for True Parents, and for you, Heavenly Father. We want to relieve your aching heart and make it a joyful heart, and the saints and sages of history, especially Jesus, whose sorrowful heart is also that we need to liberate as well. Thank you for this time. Thank you for the message that we have come into this morning, that we can open our hearts, that it can really make us go forward with great determination and love and heart as we share this time together. And I offer it to you with a heart and gratitude always, as I pray in the names of all of these simple families gathered here today. Arju.
Thank you. So let's join together and welcome Abel as he shares with us this morning. Thank you.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Yeah, thank you for this opportunity which I've asked to lead this Pundok this morning. I'm always grateful to Reverend Nakou for sharing every morning, and also the leaders for giving inspiration and reflection that can really build us young members how to grow in the spiritual side. So thank you for joining. Okay, the topic that I was prepared to give is how we can take God's standpoint and how we can have faith to move God's providence. So, because yeah, every morning we had seen a lot about our beloved true mother, her autobiography that always guide us how we can really move and align with God's principles. So today's message I have chosen, it's quite long, but I have to read it so we can reflect on that. Yeah, ministers are chosen ones. The motto for my life has been God's spokesperson. From today, I ask that all of you become the heavenly spokesperson, because God's representatives and become his alternative embodiment. I hope that you can go forward and become one whom will die in the place of God. This one of the True Father's message. A missionary is the spiritual leader of a region. You must pray for the people even if you lost sleep. Since you must offer things in order to save the people, you have to give your full devotion in an offering and subject to God. And the object must become one in order for in your mission area, you must have a sense of urgency. If your flesh and bones melt, stand up the altar and preach with the following breast and heart. Father, it is a distressing that I must go forth when I am so unworthy. Do not send it yourself, but go in place of your parents and the heaven as you were a heavenly soldier holding God's instruction. You have fought for your people and you have taken responsibility for your village, town, country, and province. But you must know that you shouldn't complain or be disappointed in that position. The longer in that position, you should have sadness for God's will, and making God's does not come with false intention when choosing and establishing a standard on earth. He devoted his heart when he chose and established a hardstick standard. This position is one which can be called the real truth, because this is once in history occurrence without devoting the utmost favor and heart. It is impossible to establish a true singular standard. You must know that this is why God had to search through the individual, family, tribe, nation, and world levels. So far, I have to go through the slides first because it's quite a long, like 9 slides, before we can have some reflection on that. So what kind of people are we today? We must have this ideal and tradition embedded in our flesh and blood, because we are people who have been anointed from these traditional ties. The whole world and cosmos revolved because of us. Each one of us, each one of you centering on you, your ancestors and descendants will be able to revolve. This kind of amazing phenomena is happening right now. You do not know what an incredible position you stand in now. You are the access. Your attitude towards being God. Heaven has expected of me, telling me to create a new world already been bestowed with the responsibility of resolving all the events. Then what position am I in? I'm a being which to exist an individual. The reason is that I belong to mankind. The world and God, our heart must be stricken at the fact that we call upon, although we are unworthy people and unworthy Lord, when we think of the fact that even those who have given voluntarily for their nation and people have not to been chosen, we must have a thankful mind and aware, inspired heart that God has chosen us and made us his children. More than being in choice with such grand goal in front of you, how do you do your responsibility on your own? It is impossible not to feel the importance of the duty and responsibility. You must take an order, accomplish your responsibilities. This feeling extends beyond the areas, families, tribe, people, nation, and the world. Let's think about it. What is the path we currently taking? It is the last road. Therefore, we must infinitely appreciate, in fact, whose street goes me to come to America and fight. I volunteer for this struggle. No matter how much persecution I receive, I just kick it aside and move on. So, what is that you all must do? Should you volunteer and do more than I? Should you do more than I because you forced to? Even if by force, if you are unable to exceed my standard, you will fail. It's simple. In the theory, it symbols. Any era central figures must never think that he was chosen because he is special. The fact that he stands in the position because of the contributions of a great and sacrificed faith. It is not exploitation of the people because you are special or because you dignified, but rather you must maintain the power sovereign ruler who is doing it for the sake of people. In terms of the unification church, the nation is not putting itself first for the sake of unification church, but the unification church is for the sake of saving the nation. The unification church has to be the saving of the world, not to take the whole world for itself. On that part of it, it is difficult to receive a calling, but receive a calling to follow the calling is especially difficult. Therefore, while on the path of faith, you must always peaceful open the doors to your heart. Your heart must be around like a big rubber ball that has been filled with air, and you deal with others without any prejudice, without according to the position. The tensions will undoubtedly arise on your path, faith, and there will be cause that through you backyards we can feel this clearly. In order to be in a peaceful position and have a heart that is always undisturbed and in the subject of the position, you must constantly cultivate yourself. If not, and you going to an engaged person that threats will first your heart to receive by yourself. If you going into a sad person, you will receive all sorts that will cause your heart to differ from your original nature and break. That is why you should always have a moderate disposition, and knowing how your disposition should be. You need to have a correct attitude towards life. The qualification that a minister must have. what type of a representative must we become. You all are good-looking, young, experienced. You have no passion, but your heart is yearning for the highest. What kind of representative are you going to become? Become a representative responsible for one household is obvious, but you must go beyond that and become your nation representative, the world's representative. In order to accomplish such a thing, you must have a worldly standard. If you want to have the worldly standard, it must come close to the absolute standard. However, without first going through the standard of the family, you cannot go through the standard of the Bible. Further, without going through the standard of the Bible, you cannot go through the standard of the nation. Without going through the standard of the nation, there is no way to go through the center of the world. You must know this fact. Because the current direction of history, countless people want to become rulers, and the person responsible for the countries centered on themselves, going beyond that. They wishes to become the leader of the world. However, these people, through the family, the tribe, go all over the hills of the people and the nation, the world. Only then can they call themselves worldly. To be is to the number one. You must become a number one. The primary problem is that you must determine God's ownership as individual man. God must be able to say, you eternally my son or daughter. One cannot be a son or a daughter by name alone. You must become one whom has a subjective love which can gather all the central elements of your nature and which God can hope for. He must be able to say, you are truly my beloved son or daughter. These words are necessary. Why? Because God knows of the history scar left by the history of our ancestors through the fall. Adam fell because he couldn't become a true son. Therefore, there was a need to say, you are my truly beloved sons and daughters. Thank you for your kind attentions. Yeah, reading I was reading this morning is just to reflect upon us how we can really stand according to God's principle, especially in the island nations. Like, we have to really take God's standpoint. And as every day we had the undoke, when I always listen to the reflection every morning from Douglas and Mary. They have some good experience out when they had the missionaries in the country. I forgot the name of the country that they went to.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Yeah, so thank you. So it's really inspired me. Like when I reflect this to my own life during my before I come and understand who I am today, I faced many challenges, family crisis. They try to discourage me, not to follow the true parents, but even my dad was really, he had a really strong determination that I have to follow true parents. some of my cousins, they try to challenge me about that, but I take the stance to have to fulfill it. And I'm so happy. Like this message I read this morning is just to reflect on how we can have strong mind to follow God's principles. And as we have to be true children, we have to become number one. And we should understand that who are we today? Like we are not called that we are blessed families or we are leaders. Why? Because God chooses us to be. So we have to take God's standpoint. Yeah, I think that's all for today. Thank you, and let's all have a nice day. Thank you.
Abel, thank you, Abel. Thank you for sharing with us and helping us to understand that we are chosen. So I'll just yeah. So I was reflecting on yeah, what it means to be called, what it means to be a volunteer. Yeah, to have. Yeah, I was reflecting on being a volunteer. Yeah, it means that I want to do it. That's why you volunteer. It means also it usually has, yeah, I have a passion to do it, and also I realize I'm grateful to do it. So when the Father's, you know, calls us to be a volunteer, you know, that because God can only receive when it comes from our own heart, and you know, the attitude we need to have, you know, is to have a peaceful mind and also that quality of an undisturbed heart. Because when you get called and you go forward with a volunteer spirit, I want to do it with a lot of passion and I'm grateful to do it, but other people you come across aren't so inspired, and so you get a lot of complaint and pressure, and you just want to go ahead and do it. So the other thing that stood out was the idea of cultivate myself, you know, cultivate yourself, Father said, you know, and the things that we need to cultivate is that peaceful mind and that undisturbed heart. So whatever happens, it just bounces off, you know, that expression of filling up a rubber balloon so it's all round. And so anything that comes just bounces off and doesn't go into your heart. And so we have to make sure that we don't get sad, because as soon as we get sad, then we no longer have a peaceful mind. We no longer have a undisturbed heart, and everything people say suddenly feels like pain. So Father is saying, you know, we are called, we are special, we because we understand God's heart, and we volunteer to do this. We want to do it, and so to maintain that, we've got to cultivate ourselves. So that's why prayer, and that's why Hundok we're doing together here is so important, so that we can settle our mind and grow our heart, so that it doesn't matter what people say, you know, even the most hurtful thing, it just bounces off, and then we just continue, because God is expecting us to be, you know, the people that he can embrace as his true son and daughter. So that's our goal of after being called, is to become that true son and daughter. So thank you, Abel. Thank you for your message, and open it up to others who would like to share. So thank you. Yes, Isla, go ahead. Then Mr. Rai after. Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Abel. That was really deep message. Just a short reflection is when Abel said that his father encouraged him to continue this path. Same happened to me. Actually, my father said also. So I always think that what's the value of like connecting to your parents? What's the value of, I don't want to use the word obedient, but like to be artistically connected and understand parents' point of view is, I experienced all my life when connecting to my parents, and that really is was very deep and kind of touched me when Abel said that even his father asked him to follow the true parents. So it's very important for us to kind of pass that tradition that God loves our children through us. So that was my reflection. Thank you.
Thank you, Isla. Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Rai.
Good morning. And about chosen one. So now in Japan and maybe Korea later, going to election. So Japan is very tense now to choose a prime minister this month. Then yesterday, one of the candidates, Mrs. Takaichi, one of the women, gave a press conference for his stand as a candidate for the prime minister. And really, it's a political leader. If I want to be a leader, I want to be chosen one, but without success election, it's an incredible battle of the election campaign. And also, I never had her speech. It's a full, but yesterday, nearly 1 hour her speech for election campaign, her vision. And I think she had been a political leader more than 30 years. And her understanding and also involving and so many areas, so detailed and incredible economy or finance or economy or all over area detail. I was really impressed and really impressed, and she can be prime minister. But media is incredible bashing her, really shouting. Media can give a question, and she can be incredible. Any cynical question, she is giving incredible answer. But even without giving a question, really bashing and really it's accusing and it's to be a leader and even having a incredible vision. Really, whole situation to understand, and practically speech, it's in all area. Then I thought it's even spiritual area, religious area, like when Jesus wants to stand, Satan is attacking the deny, incredible deny, cynically. So Jesus has to stand, but also True Mother is the same, but also all of us as incredible. I think it's we attack some way sometime. Then I think we have to stand strongly and be to realize it's our position. Something not so easy to become peace, but really I think it's we hope we can stand strongly and to realize our vision. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Wright. Thank you. Yes, thank you. So just wondering, is that you got a hand waving? I've got Chris as well, but I thought first there was someone with Jacinta. Was she wanting to say?
Yeah, sorry, I was thinking about something to say, but we were just sort of saying how much we like Mr. Arai.
Hi, Mr. Arai.
But yeah,
Sorry.
no, I really like the topic because I also, when my dad approved of me and he supported what I was doing, it was such a big deal. Oh, it was such a big deal for me that my dad supported me, and I just wanted to I find that I just want to make my parents happy, if I could just make them happy, I could sort of like take a breath, but when they're against me and everything is, it's just like having a spear stuck into your side and all your blood just keeps running out. You just haven't got the power to keep going when your parents are opposing you. And this is why I really feel sorry for anyone who's, living under parental persecution. And so I'm really grateful my parents sort of turned around and supporting me, Oh, that's it.
You want to say I just loved it, Abel. It was really lovely to hear, and also that your father supported you was really very artistically comforting. So all the best.
Yeah.
Have a beautiful day in Vanuatu.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, morning, everyone. I think, the subject matter is incredibly simple and incredibly difficult. This is talking about controlling yourself, your emotions and everything. And of course, John knows we've just gone through a bit of an intense time with, the Chumbo situations being sorted out and several thousands of dollars in limbo, and it's very hard. And it's just funny how you realise simple things, quotes that have been around for years, like thousands of years, like the new wine into new wine skins. And what does it mean that they blow up? Well, inside there's turmoil. In the old wine skin, you put new wine in and it ferments more, and the skin's already stretched and the gases build up and the skin bursts. And, I realised once again, and as this value of this morning devotions, there's also a lot going on in the political world, and some people are born to deal with that. But if you're not, and you get caught up in that, lots of fermentation goes on. So my point is that for people who are not born to do that, we really need to cut off from secular things at this time and really stop the hooks, stop all those things. That's how, I won't say Satan works. We have a natural tendency. We have to control that. And if we have lots of emotions connected to what's going on in the world, it's almost impossible to control when pressure comes. So I think for most of us who are really watching here, There's 40 something people here in the region watching this, and you have to realise we are called to be central, something going on here with this regionally. And so for me personally, and I think there's probably quite a few others out there too, we really need to go back, as Mother's saying, she wants Chompiong to go back to its original purpose, which is raising up the members. In other words, not focused on project-based development. All these things have to go on, but how can we get our members to have rebirth? And that is by disconnecting from the world and focusing more and more we can on True Parents' words, True Parents' life, and become, it seems, become dedicated, pure people. You know, not for the sake of it, because it's how these books dissolve. You know, this is how we maintain a regular life under pressure, and things are just going to get, the pressure's going to increase. This world is being changed, and the evil world's not going to give up. We're going to go through these things. So that's just my connecting my little experience here with the last few days to, I've been trying to do this for quite a while, to really get back to like when we joined the church, you know, and all this sort of thing, cut off from the world. Okay, thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you. Yes, Margaret, go ahead.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Just a quick report. First of all, thank you, Vanuatu team. I really felt the chosen ones topic is such a central point at this time. In August, we had a funeral for my sister, and yesterday we had a wedding with my nephew, whose mother is bedridden. And Tim and I were asked to sit at the central table to represent my sister. And it so happened, as the words of Father this morning about us being chosen ones, that to the right of Tim was the Seventh-day Adventist pastor who did the wedding. And to my left, sitting to my left, was Ernestine Ringil, the Attorney General. So it was very interesting that as we are trying to become chosen ones, and God is working double hard to place us in key positions and to be able to speak the truth. So I was busy talking to the Attorney General, and Tim was talking to the pastor. And the pastor found out that we have a pure love education and was really keen to have time to share about that. And before I spoke to the Attorney General, the sister of my nephew brought up the memories he had when we presented abstinence program in the PMA school, the Seventh-day Adventist schools. And she really wanted to see that happen again in Palau. So the Attorney General was asking, what is that program about? So that just opened the door for the discussion. So a month ago, it was a funeral, a sad time. And yesterday, it was a wedding, and opportunities were open to be able to connect to these important people. So I guess what I'm sharing from this morning, Hundok, is that as we are trying to work on ourselves, God is working doubly hard to set up situations for us. And we have to be attuned as to those opportunities and grab the moments that are possible. So even the sister whom we sent to Japan years ago for an ILC conference, remembered elements of that seminar. And she was so keen. She's one of the first trained musicians in Palau. And she said, please bring that program up and I will help with the music. So we came away from this wedding not only happy that my nephew got his life together and received education from the Seventh Adventists, it opened a way for us also to be able to minister to the pastor who is from New York. So when he found out Tim is from New York, they connected immediately. So I thank our brother from Vanuatu. That was really a call, an altar call this morning.
Thank you, Margaret. Thank you. Yes, Janine, go ahead.
Thank you, Abel, for the reading this morning. It was really beautiful. I remembered when you mentioned about your father. My father died, and when before he died, he became a Christian, and so I felt he guided me to become a Christian, to become born again. And then when but I was still searching, and when I went to the church, I told a Christian that my father guided me to become a Christian, and he had all these Bibles, and he started telling me all these Bible quotes where it wasn't right. My father wasn't, don't think like that, and your father's not there, and like it's really dangerous thinking like that. Anyway, then when I went to the center, I told Krista Jensen, she was the central figure, oh, my father guided me, and he's guiding me here, he's guiding me in my spiritual path. And she said, yes, that's probably right, Janine. And when she said that, I thought, oh, wow, she really understands, she really understands. And it really helped me to feel comfortable where I was, because, the experience of my father being there was real. And it's lots of times, when I was in difficulty or fundraising, I would
Janine, I think you're touching your mic or something, because you're just losing your sound.
Okay.
That's
Can
better.
you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I pushed myself on because I felt like my father needed me to break through and to do things in order to he can grow in the spiritual world. But anyway, yeah. And also the part in the reading this morning about peaceful heart. It's that's really, really so important to have that heart and not react. Anyway, thank you for the reading, Abel.
Thank you, Janine. Thank you. Yes, Mary, go ahead.
Thank you, Abel, for your message. Wonderful message. And also for your sharing, John. It was a profound point about having a peaceful heart, and the fact that when you have that peaceful heart, then it doesn't matter what comes before you, you don't react and go to a lower place. I have an experience at work. I've had a new coordinator for about probably 5 months, and she's an absolute tyrant. I know. And she was so cutting, and I was so devastated. And it was so difficult for so long, but I knew I had to overcome this situation and love her somehow, and not be impacted by her. So finally I was able to get to that point where whatever she says now, it's sort of like just flies off, you know. So yeah, it's a real challenge, but it makes such a difference when you can overcome it and reach that point so that you're not impacted by it anymore. So I just wanted to share that. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Mary. We have, we still have time for a couple more people who'd like to share. Yes, Doug. Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to thank Chris Bruce. I found myself sharing his Sunday testimony of the rocket ship to Carlos. It was so clear, you know, somehow it fermented inside my soul since he spoke. And then all of a sudden, I was having a conversation with Carlos and I was going, how do I carry out this conversation? And Chris Bruce's sermon came to me and it just like made the day. So I just want to say thank you to Chris for that. And I had a little bit hard time hearing everything today because of echoing, so I can't really comment too much on the sermon. Mary was able to hear it, but I'm not so sure why I couldn't. But
You can read it.
yeah, so but we print screened it and I'll read it later on. So thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, guys, I just want to quickly qualify what I said at last about project-based development so people don't misunderstand, because I really feel that this Asia-Pacific Christian leadership thing is really amazing. This is going to be it for us, and please get involved. I'm not saying people shouldn't get involved, but in your personal life, if you're not have a mission to be politically motivated, please try to get back to our pure roots. That's all I was saying. I wasn't saying don't get involved in the projects. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Chris.
Hey, Cindy.
Can I just say something too about yesterday's Bunduk? I was a little bit upset, and I just had to overcome my own sort of personal experiences in order to unite with the goals of the PCLC, because you know, I have a different background to maybe a lot of the members here, and I have strong connections to people, you know, who are communists and lesbians and all that, but I know we are all one family, right? God is our Father, and that's the basic thing. And I just want to hold on to that, because that gives me the power to go on, you know, and see things from a perspective that's universal. So yeah, just wanted to say that. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. Yes, Kim, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks very much, Abel. There was one part Father was talking there about not being biased and that type of having that type of attitude. I can't recall. I have to go back and look at that particular part, but it resonated with me. One of the when I first joined the church, of course, we all went to an evening program, and of course, in those days in California, in Oakland, it was the story of how we see the elephant. You know, you all know that story, yeah. And that really resonated with me. And I think when we get into the religious people, when they get into the mindset of we've got the truth, it can cause some problems because it closes you down to many other viewpoints, and sometimes, or stops you from seeing seeing other things that you might be able to see. There's another truth happening. So we tend to throw around words very easily, and communist and the gay lobby and all of these things, but as if, you know, they're completely nothing in what they're saying. It's got absolutely no truth in some of the stuff that's being said. But the fact is that they're real people with real hearts and real original minds who are responding to some experiences within their own lives. And so we have to stay open to know how to reconcile God's ideal with those people, not just to dismiss them. And so for me, one of the keynotes of a really spiritual person is humility, and being able to think, where is another person coming from? You know, so, you know, what is the root of the truth in their experience that pushes them to be as they are? And I think that's the parental heart somehow. I don't have it completely, but that's the parental heart, you know, is that you want to see where somebody's coming from. And if your daughter or your son or your best friend is exhibiting some behavior or something that you find a bit difficult, then, you know, how can I understand that person? How can I really help that person or you know, comfort that person? And so I really take seriously what Chris said. You know, we need to go back to the roots of our faith and not get caught up in all of the politics. And we're just constantly people Facebooking and everyone's quotes from YouTube and this is, and everyone trying to prove their point. But you know, if we were a little more humble, and I'm speaking of myself as well, I'm a pretty arrogant kind of a person at times, but you know, let's try to understand, let's think how we can reconcile and how we can create God's kingdom as a loving community. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim. It's a good point to reflect on as we share together in prayer. That humility that is really vital in our life of faith. So I'll just share the screen and we can, just 1 second, get it ready. And we can pray together. Okay, let's begin. Adieu, adieu, adieu. Thank you, everyone. And have a great day. Enjoy your day.
Thank you, everyone.
I'm waiting for reply to my email. Akachiro.
Thank you, Abel.
Always Solomon Island.
Have a good day.
Hello. Yeah, same to you.
Bye-bye.